Check this out. Kamala Harris breaking new barriers as vice president. Just not the one she'd hoped for. Harris just received the worst vice presidential ratings in NBC News polling history. Just 32% of respondents held a positive view of the vice president. 49% said they held a negative opinion of her. And that gives Kamala a net favorability rating of -17, if I could do my own math. If you stack that number up against previous VPs, the picture is not that pretty. Mike Pence, Dick Cheney, and Al Gore, all seen as more favorable. But Harris does have one public cheerleader. Who's that?
I want to thank Kamala, who's there for every single important thing we do, and I'm not sure how we do it without her.
Rehabbing Kamala's image is a top priority for the White House, and it better be. Biden's chief of staff praising her work and saying, quote, "I think the enthusiasm and energy is palpable. We just need to make sure that we do a good job of exposing her to the American public." But exposure may not be the problem.
I'm going to tell you the banger of the summer, okay? That you need to play for your people, and they're going to love it. Okay. Everybody's going to go crazy.
I like it.
Yes.
I like
this is the song of the summer, okay? So you need to tell the DJ to have that going, okay?
Okay.
All right. You ready to see Stonewall? Okay.
Okay. You know, I don't know if more exposure is a good idea.
Did you see her?
Because, man, think about Biden.
They were wearing the same suit. And
what was that about?
I don't know. And she was biting her lower lip like a white guy dancing at a wedding. That is so uncomfortable and awkward to watch. I mean, it's almost as awkward as when John Mayer was dating Taylor Swift. That's what Dana said to me in the break.
That's actually more awkward even now.
Yes, but she is a historical figure. She is, you know, obviously the first female vice president, first woman of color, now the worst VP in history. And that's because of the first two. The first two got her in, but that didn't promise any competence or excellence. All she had to do was tick those boxes. And unfortunately, she didn't deliver the rest, which is like 10%. Just show up, do one thing a year. That's all you got to do. But you couldn't even do that. So that's where they're at right now. They don't, you know, she is kind of the current state of the Democratic Party. She is the hood ornament. You know, identity trumps competence, and it never reflects it. You know, and they continually act like it's the 1850s or the 1950s. I'm sorry, if you are a black woman and you got an education, you have the golden key that unlocks every door. And when you get inside and you can't achieve anything, that's on you. By the way, did you see the other survey, Dana?
What was that survey?
This is amazing. Reuters found out that every single U.S. president, including Barack Obama, was the descendant of slave owners, except for Donald Trump. So that means Obama has to pay reparations, but Trump doesn't.
And there you have it. You know what?
What?
That's a good survey.
It is a
right
good
there.
survey.
That's very interesting. Judge, one of the things that we get about Kamala Harris is about once a week, there's a story, maybe it's every other week, but it is a lot, that they have a new plan and a new makeover and a new plan to rehab her reputation. And this is now we're 2.5 years into the administration, and it's so far not working.
The amazing part of this is that never in history has the position of vice president been more important than it is now. Should Biden be elected, he'll be 82 at the time he's sworn in. She is literally a heartbeat away from the presidency. And with this negative, 17 points, 39% had very negative feelings about her, like hated her. It's not just negative with the 39, very negative. She has an office with a toxic work environment. People are fighting with each other to get to the exit door. This is a woman who was in a position to make it easy for other women behind her to come forward and do the job, where Americans could say, you know, a woman is capable of doing this. If anything, she has established the precedent that a woman is incapable of being vice president. And just look at her with respect to what she's done. I mean, you know, the root causes at the border and this nonsense that Joe's trying to sell us, that I couldn't do it without Kamala. I mean, who is he kidding? So I guess the real question for them is, who do we let out? Joe, we don't know if he's going to fall or if he's going to stumble on his words, or Kamala, who just laughed her way through the whole thing. I don't know what she's giggling about, but I have a philosophy in life, and my philosophy philosophy is, if somebody is out there always giggling, they're a miserable person when you get to work for them. And finally, let me just say about setting records. Do you remember when they came out and she said, Joe, we did it when they won? Yeah. It was so inauthentic. There was something about it that you just couldn't buy. So if they really want to show Kamala more, the problem is she's got nothing to tout. Maybe she'll talk about abortion, but they want her to talk about infrastructure. I don't know if that's going to go so well. But for a woman who had it handed to her on a silver platter because she checked off all the boxes, for her to literally fail in this job is really a sad commentary on her abilities.
Abortion is certainly an issue that she is going to push forward on. But Jessica, will that be enough?
It really depends who's running in 2024. This is all candidate-based. And if it's Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, I think it's going to be fine for the Democrats. We're an incredibly polarized country. I don't think anyone is ever going to have a landslide. But when you look at all of the data, it suggests that Trump, if he's in the race, he makes it about Trump. And people have very clear views about that. His diehard supporters, you see him gaining in the primaries and falling in the general election. And Biden picking up more independents, more suburban voters, people who could be swayed back by a more moderate Republican candidate potentially. But this is, and if you look at the NBC approval ratings, it's like a race to the bottom. So Kamala's approval rating is higher than Nikki Haley's, Mike Pence's, Ron DeSantis's, Tim Scott's, all people who want to be the Republican candidate. And Donald Trump's net negative rating makes Kamala look like the most successful woman in history. It's negative 56, right? So this is the guy who seems to be sweeping the primary season with, each new bit of information about another indictment coming. I mean, last night we all heard audio of him showing people a classified document. He lied to Brett Baer, right? He said there was no document. We heard shuffling of papers, and he sounds like a teenager. Hey, guys, isn't this cool? Look what I got. Talking about the nation's secrets, not a personal thing.
What about her, though?
It's obviously that she doesn't resonate with the American public, that it's not, whatever is happening right now is not working. I don't know if showing her off more makes a difference, but it all comes down to what are the names going to be on the top of the ballot? And if Donald Trump is the name under the R, I don't know if talking about the net negatives that Kamala has makes any difference.
So you hate him because he didn't own slaves? Is that the thing, Jessica?
Obviously, his family was slow to a good business deal or something, right?
Well, I think Donald Trump might be more popular if the Department of Justice wasn't leaking evidence in the middle of a criminal investigation.
Audio,
just think about all of the terrible things, though, that the media can make popular. Disco, Don Lemon, margarine. You remember they had people out there that used to chant, save the whales, save the whales. But now the windmills are murdering all the whales, and they're like, you know what? They had it coming. You don't understand what's going on. The media can market anything except Kamala Harris, and they have tried and tried and tried. Jessica, cigarettes kill people, and cigarettes are more popular than Kamala Harris. They tried to melon scoop this woman out of the ticket a couple months ago, and they couldn't pull it off.
Who tried to melon scoop her
We
out?
covered it on the show, Jessica.
Elizabeth Warren.
I love that verse. That is the greatest verb, melon scoop.
Well, it had to be delicate. And why did Biden run? He said he was going to be a bridge to the new generation. Well, that bridge has blown to smithereens because the woman fails under pressure, and now he's stuck with someone who's about as popular as toxic waste. Would you fly an airplane if the pilot was old and rickety and the co-pilot couldn't land it? You'd not fly the plane, you'd drive. Nikki Haley hit it right on the head the other day when she said that we're not running against Joe Biden, we're running against Kamala Harris. Right. And that sent the White House into a panic mode. And so what they're trying to do is now every answer out of this woman's mouth is abortion. They'll ask her about infrastructure. It's abortion, abortion, abortion. That's all you're going to hear. But I'm waiting for one thing. I'm waiting for reporters to ask Kamala Harris about her boss extorting foreign nations for cash bribes. What she says there will tell you everything about Kamala Harris, and that's what I'm waiting for.
You might have to wait a long time because I don't think one of those interviews is going to happen. But the Andy Cohen interview, that will happen. Next time, you could wear something different, though. Me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.